How's it going, everyone? Today's video is going to be an interesting one, as we are going to be talking about a topic that we previously have not talked about, that being airdrops. So I'm going to give you guys some airdrop projects that I am in myself, and a little bit on the airdrop side of things, why I believe that even if you're really not familiar with airdrops, why you should check these out, as some of these, and keyword some, can be pretty helpful for you if you're looking to get a little bit more cash to your name. This is going to be a great way to get your hands within crypto. So definitely something that's very easy to do. And again, we'll get into ways of what you can do to receive those airdrops. Now, first of all, we're going to be talking about the current status of the market, which I simply am just going to be covering Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance and expected future moves. I'm not going to really get into the bullish factors of the catalyst events, as that's been covered in the last video. There's really nothing new that's came up. So again, those two are what we're going to be talking about, just simply Bitcoin's price, as well as Bitcoin dominance. So first of all, with Bitcoin, you can kind of analyze and see a support resistance level. A resistance level seems to be around $97,000. And then we seem to see like a support level around 93,000. My expectation, as well as other analysts' expectations, is that we could push lower. Now, of course, nothing in crypto is guaranteed, but with this current movement, it does look like we could see some downside. And just because that we could have downside doesn't mean it's the end of the world. I mean, honestly, a small amount of downside really is not going to mess your projects up too much in the long run. Again, in the long run, everything's going to be just fine. Chart still looks healthy long run as well. There's a ton of different factors that still point at this being a very good Q1 and even Q2 of 2025. So I'm really not worried too much about that. But Bitcoin, again, looks to be bearish right now for the very, very short term. But again, long term, nothing to worry about whatsoever. So if there's projects that you're looking to get into, a lot of them have charts that do tend to show bearish price action that could indicate that you could have better levels to enter. But as always, my recommendation, and none of this financial advice, do your own research, is to DCA into projects that you are interested in. Therefore, in the event where the project pumps, you made money on that. But in the event it dumps, if you're DCAing, you'll get a better entry. So DCAing works very, very well. Again, sniping the bottom every time is very, very difficult. Therefore, DCAing is just going to be a better option. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is Bitcoin dominance. We're still at around 60%, way too high for us to see an alt season. We really want that to dip down to the 50 to 40% levels before we start to see good price action with altcoins, assuming Bitcoin does pretty well. Bitcoin dominance being low as well means that altcoins are going to do very well as well, because it's just an overall healthy market. So definitely something we're simply just waiting for. But yeah, 60%, way too high for markets to react heavily. And then we're now going to talk about the Moonwell video. So I saw a lot of people talking about how Moonwell's chart looks horrible. All sorts of talk about how Moonwell is just a bad project. You guys have to understand that there is a lot of bullish events happening within Moonwell. Again, like Curtis brought this up, there was talk, I believe Jesse or someone, could have been Jesse Pollock or Jesse on base, I forget who it was, had brought up essentially integration with, I believe his bank accounts with Moonwell. So Moonwell integrating bank account systems and other systems for countries outside the US. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't look into this too much, but Moonwell has so much integration in terms of just being like a bank of cryptocurrency. It's insane to see what they're developing, and people will simply just doubt on a project because of tokenomics, because of a whole bunch of other factors, when honestly, again, with token unlocks, we've covered situations where token unlocks have barely affected price. Of course, you do have situations where they are, but we've seen token unlocks have barely had any effect on the price of Moonwell. People say, well, short term, hey, price looks very, or the chart looks very bad, etc., etc. You have to understand all cryptos are doing pretty poorly currently. And again, from an entry at sense for myself, I'm currently sitting very, very fine with Moonwell. And I think even now is a good price to enter, but of course it's my own opinion. But yeah, I'm taking the side of I see a bullish scenario for Moonwell, more so for the next 5 months. I'm not really concerned about the chart looking bearish or whatever, because I feel like when DeFi and base gets more notable, I'd say Moonwell is going to be one of those. I mean, Jesse Pollock is literally talking about how well Moonwell is doing and supporting this project, because I mean, he sees it as being a good project. Coinbase is investing in this project. So for people to simply say, oh, chart looks horrible, I'm never touching this project, and it doesn't really make sense. Even Warren Buffett says he doesn't really look at charts. Again, this is crypto, but I'm just trying to say he looks at companies, in this case, we're looking at crypto with very good fundamentals and value, which is what Moonwell is doing. So that's my take on it. I know a lot of you are going to disagree on that, but I just like to cover that. But again, if you disagree, cool, you disagree. But that is my stance. I just like to cover that out of the way. But now we're going to get into the airdrops, where I'm going to be going into one notable one, and then I'm going to be talking about one that I'm currently in that is actually about to end. At least season 2 is about to end. But more specifically, first of all, why airdrops? Well, again, airdrops are a great way to get yourself into the crypto space without spending a single dollar. You don't have to spend a single dollar for a lot of airdrop programs. All you have to do is perform some certain tasks, or in examples I'm going to show you, you're going to be leveraging some of your internet, or, there's a ton of different scenarios. It's just what I'm trying to say. But you will then receive tokens for that, which actually can be for a very large amount, which is called airdrop farming. So we're more specifically going to be talking about farming in today's video. There are other ways to receive airdrops. For example, for the Pengu airdrop, if you owned NFTs, you would receive an airdrop for that. So that's from you simply just holding something. Your wallet would then receive that. Other ways, again, you just are essentially picked for airdrops randomly and get that sent. But more specifically for farming airdrops, this is a great way to actually get a decent amount of money in the crypto space. And let me explain. So first example we're going to be talking about is NodePay. I'm currently doing NodePay. I got into season 2. So there's different seasons I've come to find with farming airdrops, and NodePay has different seasons. Again, there was season 0, season 1, and now season 2. Season 0 and season 1, I believe, are finalized. I mean, they are finalized, and you can actually see how much of the NodePay token you actually have unlocked. It's actually not even released yet. But of course, those who have been farming NodePay are going to be receiving those tokens. And I'm in season 2, where I believe I've farmed almost 30,000 NodePay, which I've seen people with like hundreds of thousands and a couple of million themselves, which is of course a lot of money. However, people are saying that when looking at the NodePay tokenomics and other aspects, just theorizing that around, I think it's 1,000 NodePay equals $10. So I made $300 within the span of a couple of weeks, simply just farming this airdrop, which literally requires me to just keep my MacBook open and to literally just harvest the some internet resources using nodes. I honestly don't know specifically how it works, but that is something that you can do. It's very easy to do. Don't worry, you're not, unless you're getting into some shady things, you're not going to be affecting yourself too much in terms of the internet aspect, or there's other airdrops that regard GPUs. So leveraging the power of your GPUs, you do get airdrops for that. But NodePay, I was able to, again, even leveraging my mobile data. They have an app where I'm literally collecting points by utilizing my mobile data. So there's 2 different options where you can utilize this program to actually earn points, which then translate into tokens, where you can then, in this case being Solana, I can then swap those NodePay tokens to Solana. So assuming that is correct, 1,000 NodePay points equals $10, well then I'd have $300 simply just from what I have now, which for doing really not much is amazing, especially considering the fact that there are a ton of different airdrops where you can utilize nodes. Again, these are simply just things that use your IP address, your Wi-Fi, to then leverage that to others, is as far as my understanding. Again, do your own research on all of this. But then another one is going to be Gradient, which is very early. This is on season 0. Highly recommend checking that out. It's basically the same thing. You're leveraging a node that users can interact with, therefore utilizing more of your internet. You do get points for that. No idea how the point system works for that also. And then there's another one that is not coming to my mind right now, but it again also deals with nodes, dealing with your connection. So 3 airdrops for farming, but again, I've talked about a ton of different ways you can receive airdrops. I mean, 3. But then, yeah, the farming aspect, you can do nodes, leveraging that. That's going to be probably the easiest way. Farming realistically involves, you can do this with gaming too. Like if you're interacting with a game, you will get an airdrop for simply just playing a game. That's another option. So those are a couple different ways of what you can do to unlock airdrops or earn airdrops. That's literally free money. I thought this would be an interesting topic to cover for you guys. And if you want to learn more about getting into airdrops early, Kaizen does actually have a dedicated airdrop analyst who does cover things of that nature. And if you want to join the waitlist, the link is in the description below. With all that being said, guys, I hope you did appreciate the video. I'll see you guys later.